Imagine a world of truth and trust on the foundation of compassion. It is a world that may feel far away, but it is a world that I try to help create every day. I want to bring you inside my journey to a world of truth and trust that we can build together with our hearts, heads, and hands, with both our power and our vulnerability. When I woke up on October 7th, 2023, to the news of the unfolding massacre in Israel, I felt a sense of overwhelm. How could I ever support Jewish educators in day schools, camps, synagogues, and elsewhere deal with the magnitude of that moment? I could not sleep for 2 nights thinking about that question. When the morning of October 9th arrived, the idea came to me like a flash, bringing me back to the middle of the night of the 2016 United States presidential election. As the results of the 2016 election were rolling in, and Donald Trump was declared the 45th president of the United States, I sensed that I was living through a momentous event in American history. Later that morning, I would process that result with my students, as I always had. However, I knew that this class would be different. How would I have a civil and nuanced discussion about the election when many of my students would be mourning Hillary Clinton's loss, while others would be elated with Donald Trump's win? The answer came to me at about 3 in the morning. I walked into the classroom the next day and wrote 3 questions on the board. Heart, how do I feel? Head, what do I want to know? Hand, what might I want to do? Then I gave students markers and they filled their responses to the questions on the board. After 10 minutes, I put the students in a circle and said the following. Because we're in school, I often focus on our discussion on your head questions. However, we cannot have the best possible discussion if I don't know what's in your hearts and what you might want to do with your hands. The discussion went better than I could have imagined, and I returned to that approach after the Parkland school shootings, Brett Kavanaugh hearings, and the murder of George Floyd. The heart, head, hand approach is a guiding process and healing process that has helped hundreds of educators and students navigate this difficult moment. It provides a needs assessment, but not a sense of direction. The time to provide more direction is now, building a world of truth and trust on the basis of compassion. Is truth about being protective or receptive? Embracing change or invoking tradition? Is compassion about confidence or humility? Is trust about reliability or uncertainty? My experience of truth and trust was a staple feature of my childhood. I grew up with a father who's a lifelong Republican and a mother who was a lifelong Democrat. Both of them loved the news and politics, and we had the PBS NewsHour on at the dinner table. How was I supposed to decide my truth and whom to trust? My path was my own, but it was informed by parents who were both moderates, responding to a changing world in changing institutions. With their guidance and voices in my head, I came to my own conclusions. I believe that I have the skills and frameworks to bring these ideas to others. As we think about the post-October 7th world, I think about the famous midrash about Jacob's fear before his reunion with his brother Esau. Was his greatest fear that he would kill or that he would be killed? How can one appreciate that both sides of the coin can be true? One method to identify one's values is to recall one's formative stories between the ages of 15 and 25. For me, I think about September 13th, 1993, and watching the famous handshake between Yitzhak Rabin and Yasser Arafat, with a beaming Bill Clinton looking on. I thought that I was witnessing the peace that generations had waited to see. Well, that may seem naive now. I remember also seeing a Berlin Wall fall and the USSR signed away with a stroke of a pen. This moment explains my short-term pessimism and long-term optimism. If I were successful, we would see a Jewish world that knew its most important stories, that embodied truth and trust, engaged in active listening, and asked open questions. We need these skills more than ever in our polarized world. We need educators who know how to humanize these difficult moments and center conversation around heart, head, and hand.